For how long?
Mommy,
For how long will you keep blaming your father, your mother, your brother, your sister for what happened or is happening to you? For how long would you keep blaming your friends, your neighbors, your relatives for what happened or what is happening to you? For how long will you keep blaming your community, your town, your nation, the system for what is happening to you? Give yourself a chance, man. Give yourself a chance, Masa. Take full responsibility over your life. Take full responsibility for you. Stop giving your power off to others. Taking responsibility is not weakness, it is your strength. Tell yourself, I got myself into this and I can get myself out. No one can make me happy but me. Remember, no one can make you happy but you. No one can take care of you better than you. No one can take care of you better than yourself. No one. Absolutely no one. Take full responsibility today to give yourself the best of you. Take full responsibility of what happened in the past. Take full responsibility of what is happening now so you can be able to create the future you want. But as long as you keep blaming others for what is happening to you now, you're giving them your power and you're giving them control over you now and your future, and what they will give you will definitely not be what you want. If you want to create what you want, start taking full responsibility for everything that happened to you, bad, good, or worse.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to another session of the book review that we have been having for the past 2 to 3 weeks. And this time we are discussing A New Earth. A New Earth. What's the name of that author again? Eckhart Tolle. So we are discussing A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. Ambrose, what have you picked and what particular things you got about the book?
Eckhart Tolle, A New Earth. Okay. From what I've been able to gather so far, I know it discusses religions. He says religion cannot save humanity. He discusses a lot about humanity. Well, I need to start from somewhere. He start by saying that spirituality. He talks of spirituality, and he mentions something that is really pertinent, that spirituality has nothing to do with religion, with your beliefs, but it has everything to believe with your state of consciousness. So he emphasizes on what we think and the impact it has on us. But what I also learned from it is a religion. He underlines that religion will not serve humanity from a mess. And when I talk mess, he's talking about the wars and everything that is going wrong in the world. Because he says in the past people kill people just because they think differently from them, because they believe differently. And even today, people are still being killed because of their beliefs. So he says the more you focus on belief, it takes you away from spirituality. Instead, that's what he made mention of. And he talks about Buddhism, and he says that religion, Christianity, Buddhism, and other religions, when you look deep, you see that they cannot solve our problems, they cannot solve the mess in which we are in, because each of those religions somehow tolerate suffering. And this got me thinking so much, because he even mentions in the book that with time religion has been twisted a lot, and a lot of things have changed. And it even made me remember of what we're always told in translation. Sometimes when you translate a book from the source language to the target language, it's not the same. You are bound to change certain things because you give it to another community, and the community have different realities, and sometimes you end up changing a lot of things. And so with years too, the writings, so many things have been twisted and changed. And it says, he mentioned something like Dukak or something, that is tolerating things, accepting things, and he talked about a lot of other religions. And at the end of the day, they had one thing in common, that they see suffering as normal. And that's why he was putting emphasis on consciousness and stuff like that. I think I'll go deeper before we probably get to the next session. I'll go deeper into that. But then what he underlines is that all the religions tolerate suffering. Yes, and it got me thinking a lot, because even in church they preach that when you pray and say that suffering is not my portion, this is not my portion, and he asks whose portion is it then? If Jesus suffered, we too must suffer, and stuff like that. It means that maybe told Eckhart has a point, because all of us suffer at one point.
Okay, that's interesting. What is intriguing about the new earth is the fact that what I got from it is that the thing that is inevitable for all of us is pain and hurt.
Yes.
But suffering is of the mind. There's no way you can avoid pain as you live. There's no way you can avoid being hurt as you live. But the suffering that you suffer is a choice that you decide to engage in.
Because it's in the mind.
Because it's in the mind.
Yes.
So that is the intriguing part about it. And one thing I like about the book is it's not about pointing out. I'm not a fan of people who just point out problems without suggesting techniques in how you can get over those problems. Because he is saying that, okay, if you hit your leg today on a stone, there's no way you can avoid that pain. It's painful. There is no way. Now, what will suffering come? Suffering comes in when you start creating scenarios in your mind. If I did not pass this road, if I did not do this, if I did not do that, maybe I wouldn't have gotten into this trouble. By the time you're creating all of those things in your head, you're now engaging into suffering. But once you get to that point and this is what has happened, and you accept that, okay, this is what has happened, and what is the best thing that I can do at this moment to handle this thing,
Yes.
you are avoiding suffering. And if you try it, you will see how amazing and how true it works. In every situation that I face as a person, I have gotten to a point where I have to stop my mind from thinking about how I wanted it to be, but accepting it the way it is and doing your best and doing what you think is right at that particular moment.
Yes.
That is the beautiful thing about what Eckhart is trying to explain to us. And it's not about just reading. I'm trying to practice. Catch myself in that thought. Catch myself if I think. You're facing a situation, the first thing that always comes to my mind is, how would I have loved this situation to be? And when you start thinking of how you would love the situation to be, and it's not the way it is, you start suffering. But once you don't accept that, I'm going to shop this. You see how what can I do at this particular moment to remedy the situation? It helps. Then the beautiful part about the book too is him talking about the ego.
Yes.
Talking about our ego. Because the suffering comes because of the ego. Then he initiates and he still makes it clear that it's not about fighting the ego, because you cannot win the battle. It's not about fighting the ego. It's about catching yourself in the act. It's about not letting it suffer you. Look at the interesting strategies he gave. The way our ego uses us. He was trying to explain that thinking is a very good thing, but the fact that we have let our ego to rule has made thinking our worst enemy. Yeah. Because the pain comes from the suffering comes from the thinking.
insist on that. That is in the mind that we suffer.
The suffering comes from the way you think things. Anybody that has accepted his situation the way it is now is free from suffering. You might go through the pain, you might go through the hurt, but you are free from suffering. And he also explained, Eckhart tried to explain the various forms in which the ego plays with us. It's so amazing because I always say something is amazing when I have tried. If I don't try, I don't say be amazing. It's so amazing because he's trying to make us understand that when you start attributing your existence to your physical appearance, the ego is playing with you. Because the ego always looks for something. When you start attributing your existence to your physical appearance, also your ego to play with you. When you start attributing your existence or attributing your happiness to what you do or what you have or what you don't have, is the ego that's playing with you. When you start telling yourself, okay, this particular thing has to happen for me to be happy, is the ego that's playing with you. You just need to face the situation as it is now and do the best you can now, and you will find that peace and that happiness. But once we are relating and we think there's a particular thing that has to happen for me to be happy, there's a particular thing that I have to do for me to be happy, it takes us back to the Christendom. You look at the Christendom, you understand. When the devil was tempting Jesus, he was using the same thing that the ego uses.
Yeah.
He was trying to use him, make him to be proud of what he can do, and it didn't work. He tried to make him to be proud of what he has. It didn't work. Then he tried to also make him to be able to show off to the community his power. He still did not. So it's still the ego that was playing in that very part. So the Bible, the Bible is trying to explain to us what happened. They are giving us visual pictures of what happened, but we don't know actually whether it was the mind, whether the discussion that Jesus had was with his mind, with his ego, or it was with the serpent. The Bible makes it, it's trying to put a figure to it, but we don't know. But when you look at the fact that they will get you to be proud of what you have, which is not even yours, or they will try to get you to be proud of what you can do, and what you can do does not even define you, because you will not always be able to do the things you think you can do. It's about being, not doing. So it's really an interesting concept, because it takes us back to the being, knowing that okay, you are who you are, regardless of any other thing. That's why you see Eckhart insists on that statement, I am.
Yes.
That statement, I am. Once you put something in front of that I am, it's no longer the same statement. It's no longer the same statement. I am is very important. You're not what you have. You're not what you do. You're not what you can get. You are just you. And when you are you, you are at peace. But I say the pressure is too much in the community. Such a way that if you want to just be you, they look at the lazy man. So I like the grammar. The grammar say all these beautiful things, material stuff, they are very important. They are very, very nice things. Use them, but don't get attached to them. Because once you get attached to these things, the ego has taken over you, and you will suffer if they are not there. That is one of the most beautiful things about what he said. Use these things. Do not get attached to these things, because if you get attached to them, that's sure. No. Use money, don't get attached to money.
Don't get attached to money, as if don't be like, if there's no money I will die, or because that's where the suffering comes from.
Even food, don't get attached to it. Said Guru, he talks, if you make a statement on the way, he revolutionized my life. Now if you're listening to your body, there are days that you don't need food.
Then you're listening to your body.
Yes.
It's true.
Sincerely.
There are days that I get I don't feel
Yes.
I can just eat just that.
Because in a convention, you don't listen like normal.
I don't.
If you're listening to your body, if you're listening to your body, there are days that you don't need food. And And that's why they always talk of whether Christian, Muslim, Hindu, what intermittent fasting is very good. Fasting has nothing to do with Christianity. It's not about Christianity. It's not about fasting is about your health.
I work with you.
You wise now?
Yes.
Very, very important. Then if you can be fasting at least once in a week now, 1 day in a week, just stop without chopping 1 day in a week now, you will help you over. You will hardly even force it.
So you don't check that the you don't check that the follow will not chop it.
I check my disease. I know the balance.
See, I used to do it though. It's just that
You used to?
When I do, I try. See, when I was in school, now we had one fasting in church for 30 days. I come back here, I'm doing them. You must not have me say, all I want to say on my day. So it's just mainly I limited the way I.
So the question is, you're focusing on your physical look, but how do you feel after you fast? After you stay without eating for a day or for a while?
After I say that she has
How do you feel? Because you are focusing on the feeling.
Grab, wait, you say Akido me.
Yes, I'm not putting my kid on the way shut up from what you.
That's true, Grab. You know, say, either I don't throw it out.
Yes, it insists a lot on mine. But I must admit, I still need to do a lot of effort to really understand it. You need to do it again and again.
You see, this Eckhart Tolle in New Earth. You see the voice of knowledge. I think we are still to get to the voice of knowledge.
Yeah.
Those are the books that, when you consume those books, like this, you see like this, we are just suffering ourselves. We are just.
You don't see that this is
ourselves. Because every confrontation that you have with someone, it's because you've created something in your mind. If you accepted it the way it is, it will be better.
There's something that communication, having the mind of a prejudice.
Okay.
It's very bad.
Eckhart, this one, I don't look the grad. I said, what's I the reason if I reason this? So because now it's peaceful. It's really peaceful when you get to understand the tricks that the ego plays with you.
Yes.
Most of our suffering.
It's
Now
ego,
we the cause of
it's our enemy. Something like that.
He's saying that the ego. He doesn't say the ego is not an enemy.
He mentions something like
It's
that.
about you, how you use it. That's why he said, don't try to wage war against your ego, because you cannot win it. It's catching yourself in the act. Catching yourself in the act. Like when you're facing a situation and you're tempted to think about how you want the situation to be, stop yourself from thinking and face the situation as it is. Not getting angry because you wanted it this way and it's not this way. It's about catching yourself in the act, because you cannot fight the ego and win. Because
So
you're
all
always
of
there.
what he's saying is that's what he calls the state of consciousness.
Yes, being
That's the spirituality
conscious,
of it.
being conscious, being very, very conscious. No, but one thing is clear: when it comes about spirituality and religion, we always establish that spirituality is different from religion. The fact that we are all spiritual beings, that we are having human experiences,
Yes, naturally.
naturally
Really
means that whether you are of what denomination or what belief, you are a spiritual being from scratch. You're a spiritual being from scratch. It's just that sometimes we have a lot of distractions that we neglect the spiritual part of us. And when we neglect that spiritual part of us, we end up suffering. Because the spiritual part of you has the ability to decipher even when danger is coming. Whether you be whatever religion you are, the spiritual part of you get the ability to decipher when there's danger. Preempt danger before it comes.
And just imagine you
But
want
then-
to go somewhere and you're feeling reluctant.
Yes.
And you end up going and something happens. You're like, I really felt.
Something be tell me say man no go.
Yes.
It's that spiritual part of you. If you learn to listen to yourself, as a human being, you learn to listen to yourself, and there are so many things, so many problems you will not have. There are so many things you will not encounter. If you learn to listen to yourself, there are so many diseases you will not get. There are so many diseases, so many things that will happen in your life that you will catch on time. Before someone dies of high blood pressure, your body may not tell you to listen.
Yeah.
Your spirit will be telling you will not listen. If you were listening to your body, you say there's something not right with me. When it has spoken to you times without number, you didn't listen. So you don't get to the bad stage. So when I always talk about self-help books, always instead of taking us out, it always sends us back within us.
Within us, yes.
Because the power is within you. That's what self-help books do. Send you back, say, grab the solution that I have outside, the solution that I have inside.
What do you just saying? It just goes well, because always hear, listen to Dr. Fru. You always sing for sick because we have failed the laws of nature.
Thank you.
One thing about nature
Yes.
that we have failed, that's
Yes.
why we are sick.
Yes. That ground, you understand
We
well.
must learn how to live in accordance with nature.
There are principles that the Creator created this earth with it.
Yes.
And we need to respect those principles if we want to live on this earth. That is why you came from the soil. And everything you eat to sustain yourself comes from that same soil. Those are principles. When we go against eating things that come from the soil to maintain ourselves, what happens? We get sick. When we go against eating natural stuff.
Yes.
Now, principle that we God don't create that. We will know if you break up. If you want to try to break up, you will say break yourself. Those are the principles. So it makes a more understand, say, whether no matter your belief or whether you who, you must respect those principles. You must respect those principles. Because He's a merciful God, merciful creator. Once you don't break the principle, okay, you start talking about miracles, you pray for restoration, it happens. But once that restoration happens and you don't go respect those principles, you will still get back to the same situation. You will still get back to the same situation. So as you talk, you have to, the laws of nature, that God created. But I said the white man became fufu, the maker would say it's evil. They came and made us think that everything about our forefathers, all the traditional medicines and everything was an evil something. And that they suffered that would suffer till today. So it's about time we question everything. I don't want to say question everything.
Yes. A lot.
Question everything.
The book so far has been questioning a lot of things.
Yes.
And it's been a battle in my mind to understand a lot of things, and I will not rest until I understand a lot about that book.
Yeah, question
Yes.
everything, because the thing is that the lies that exist in your life
Exactly.
cannot survive once you keep questioning.
There is a lot about prejudice.
Yes.
Because if you want to look at even the religion and talk of people killing people, is because they already have this set of belief. They already have prejudice.
Yes.
It is that is this way, and sometimes they don't even understand it. They just act according to what they've heard.
That is what has been happening in the yesteryears. You kill people in the name of God. You're fighting God's battle. You're killing people in the name of God.
And prejudice is not something it's easy to avoid.
Yes.
Yes. It's just that there are just a lot of things that are in our mind, and we do it, we activate unconsciously. But those are the prejudices that dictate the way we act.
And if you've not gotten exposure, the thing will always take over you, and you'll be unconsciously acting as you're saying. It's about getting the exposure, getting the knowing. It's about just knowing, so that you catch yourself. I always say catch yourself in the act.
It's good to look for knowledge, because when you get there, you realize that you learn a lot, but you unlearn even a lot more. Unlearn a lot more.
No, a lot.
Yes.
So we'll just continue to next week. We'll continue to next week. It's an amazing book. I don't listen and continue. I don't listen and finish 2 weeks, 3 times. Whenever I'm walking or whenever I'm traveling, it's always when I go me as from my house far, I always do my ear. And each and every time I learn that years until another year than before. Each and every time that I'm listening to
I started listening to chapter 1, so I still listen back again. But you send that PDF, your sister read that again. Must look at this. See what tell understand.